self-discovery. Before I say anything else, I would really love it if every one of us switches on our video. It's so much nicer to talk to faces. I'm sure our speaker for the day would also like to see faces. Thank you. Thank you, Bhargavi. Thank you, Dolly, for switching on your video. Would love to see a few more videos on, if not all. At least, if not for me, when the speaker is on, please do switch on your video. So every month, thanks, Kamla. So every month through this platform, we bring to you topics related to mental wellness. We've been doing this for over a year now, and we've had empathy, listening, active listening, suicide, grief, emotional support. We've had really a varied number of topics. And the objective, as always, is not just to talk about them, but to talk about it in a way that's useful for you in your day-to-day life, right? Not just for your own well-being, but for also the people around you. Before we jump into the session, I want to talk about Bokar Foundation, who's enabling all of this. Bokar Foundation is a volunteer-driven emotional support helpline, which provides free, confidential, non-judgmental emotional support for anyone feeling stressed, depressed, or suicidal. The volunteers who work with Bokar are thoroughly trained and screened and try to listen to the callers without any judgment and really try to understand how they're feeling. I'm sure we all see the need for such a service in today's time. Dolly will share some more information about Pukar and how to reach us. Please do make use of this and share it with whoever you think might benefit from this service. We operate every day from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and we're always looking for volunteers. So if you're interested, do reach out to us as well. We will be recording the session, and our speaker has graciously agreed for this session to be as interactive as possible. So, again, would love the videos on. Feel free to, unmute yourself and ask the questions that may pop up during the session. Towards the end of the session, we will have a very, very short feedback form. It will take you less than 30, 60 seconds to fill it. Um, just to understand what kinds of topics might interest you going forward and how this session was for you as well. All right, without further ado, we'll jump right into the topic. So if you think about it, today in our lives, what are really our problems? Um, it's no longer, threat to our life. Like we're not fighting tigers and lions in our day-to-day life. We're not even, worried about dying hungry. Most of us are, doing well. We can find food. Most of us are also doing well money-wise, at least reasonably well to sustain ourselves. So what are we really worried about? What are our real problems? What we suffer these days are generally our emotions and the worlds in our minds, right? So we often think of emotions as problems to avoid, something that gets in the way. I'm trying to be peaceful, but these emotions are coming in the way, right? But what if we could see them differently? What if we could think of them as not a problem, but as messengers carrying information for us, about us, right? Today, we invite you to shift that perspective, to explore your emotions, not with judgment, not trying to push them away, but with curiosity and how they can help you discover yourself more and learn to accept them better. Let's learn to listen, understand, and respond mindfully to our emotions because every emotion, I guarantee you, has a story to tell. And you'll see what I'm saying once you hear Swati speaking. Swati, who's the speaker for the day. Thank you so much, Swati, for being with us here today. We are thrilled to have you. She is a counseling psychologist, astrologer, and the creative mind behind Nodes and the Moon and Sync in Self, with a background rooted in psychology from Brunel University, London, and hands-on experience with NHS in UK. She's all about blending science with the soul. Swati's approach is simple yet profound, understanding emotions through a mix of ancient wisdom, self-inquiry, and modern mental health practices. Her work goes beyond conventional therapy. It's about feeling deeply, reflecting wisely, and living authentically. Now, we all are craving this and seeking this, I'm sure. Whether it's guiding corporate leaders towards emotional resilience or hosting soulful retreats, she brings a fresh, grounded perspective to emotional well being. She will dive into how to make sense of our emotions in a way that feels practical and soulful. So, Swati, over to you again. Thank you so much for being here. Before you start, I do want to ask people one more time to switch on their videos. It would be really wonderful for her to see you. Please do switch on
Yes,
your videos.
please.
Thank you, Swati, for being here. So,
Thank you so
I
much.
want
Thanks to you and Ujjwala also for having me here.
to I want to start with a very, very basic question about emotions. In your experience, how does the lifestyle that we have, like I was saying, we're not worried about tigers eating us or hunger or anything like that. But how does our
Right.
modern lifestyle affect our relationship with emotions? Why do we think of them as problems?
Um, I guess we are actually this is the world we are living in. We are living with adjectives, right? There are so many adjectives we are living around and with, and we actually don't know the meaning of them. So if you'll ask somebody what is emotion, so people might not even be aware of the word to inquire about, like, what emotion actually is. So I would ask you also first that what is emotion to you and the audience as well.
So I'll leave it
So
open to
what is
you first.
emotion
So
to what is emotion
anybody,
to us? Yes,
anybody who'd like to unmute and share their thoughts on what emotions are.
Mental thoughts and feelings.
okay. Mental thoughts and feelings.
I
Anything
think
else?
emotions are drivers for our behavior. I think everything we do stems from some emotion.
Right. So emotions are something which, like, drive us to act, to think, and to feel also. Sorry for my voice. Uh, I guess I got cold. Yes. So emotions are something that is driving force. Okay, it drives us from one thing to another. So the only thing which is active all over the day and night, if we focus on that, that is emotion only. So how do we understand or how do we reflect upon emotion that what we are feeling? So from getting up in morning to, like, being willing to do something or not to do something. जब हम उठ के जब हमारी इच्छा होती है कि आज ये करना है इतनी सारी चीजें करनी है, और जब हमारी इच्छा होती है कि आज कुछ भी नहीं करना है, या जब हम डिस्टर्ब फील करते हैं, या फिर जब हम बहुत एंथुसियास्टिक फील करते हैं, तो इन सब सारी इमोशंस इन सब सारी फीलिंग्स में इमोशंस इन्वॉल्व होते हैं. So if we had a good evening or a restful night, then we'll get up energetic. And if not, if there are some troubles going on in life, तो हम एक वेट के साथ उठते हैं, एक बोझ के साथ उठते हैं कि लाइक फिर से दिन आ गया. और अगर हमारे पास कुछ करने को होता है, अगर हम अच्छा फील कर रहे होते हैं, तो we feel good about it. So emotions are a driving force which, like, which unconsciously make you do things. Okay, so either in higher forms or in lower forms, either you feel higher emotion or you feel lower emotion. So to coming back to your question, that how, like, emotions are playing that role in modern times. So earlier in ancient time, people were present in what they were doing, and they were aware of what they were doing. तो पुराने के टाइम में, या फिर हमारे भी जो दादाजी लोग हो गए या मॉम लोग हो गए, अगर आप उनसे पूछोगे ना, दे आर वेरी ऑर्गेनाइज्ड, दे ऑलवेज नो कि कहाँ पर क्या रखा हुआ है, या फिर बुक के किस पेज में कौन सा वाला कोड होगा. So, because they were present when they were living their life, they were aware of it, they were doing, they were knowing what they were doing. But if today I have so many clients and friends also around, and I also would have done it someday, we all do that. हम चीजें कर रहे होते हैं पर हमें पता नहीं होता है कि हम एक्चुअल में क्या कर रहे हैं. So if somebody asks reason why, then we don't know. So that state is like, confused, very much confused. It is confused because we are not clear about our emotions and then thoughts. So how uh, emotion are driving our thoughts through whatever we are feeling in that situation, and whatever we are expecting, our desire. And now there are so many options available, so many things through social media. Consumerism has, like, is booming. So because of all these things, there are so many options, and that is why we are confused and we don't have clarity. So ancient, there was clarity because there were no options and things were limited, and people were more centered, rooted, grounded in their being. Now, because of so much of distraction and options available, it is not so. This is how it is impacting.
Thank you, Swati. I think that is such a important point that we are not present, and that's why we are not
Yes,
seeing our emotions. So Dhananjay
yes,
also says something on chat. He says exactly like how we do emotional driven things when we are so emotionally attached to people, especially in love. And Dhananjay, love is
exactly.
something that we will touch upon later. I'm sure that's a very, very important emotion everyone's looking forward to hearing. Um,
Yes,
so I see the problem you have presented that, we are not present.
right,
So in a world where, we are not even understanding what our emotions are, what we are feeling, and it's always overwhelming us, how can we understand them better? Does, ancient wisdom provide any insights? I know you have some experience and research in this space. What are your
right.
thoughts on that?
So inquiring, can you please come back with
In
the
terms
question?
of, we often feel very overwhelmed with our emotions now because we don't
Right,
know what we are even feeling half the time we don't know. So do you
right.
feel like ancient wisdom, because I think you have done some work and research on this, do you feel that there are any insights from your experience about how to handle these emotions better? And
Right,
of course,
right.
I'm sure towards the end we will come with more practical tips, but just overall, like what are we lacking now? Why are we not able to handle our emotions?
So, when we talk about emotions, so these are the raw emotions. There are nine type of emotions, right? Rasas, we say in our scripture also. So nine emotions are the basic emotion. Okay, everything out of came out of that only. Now we have so many emotions from burnout to uh, like, what is that? Self-sabotaging and being burned out, and so many
How about
new
stress?
terms. Sorry.
Stress is, I'm sure
Yes.
scriptures did not mention stress anywhere.
Yes, yes. So there are so stress is just like, very in lower category now. There
Mhm.
are
Yeah.
huge words. So yes, so coming back to this, that when we when we talk about emotion, so how we are feeling it, it is coming from these nine emotions, the main emotions, and then there are subcategories of emotions came later. So main emotions are, that is, first is love, definitely, then fear is there, anger is there, and sadness, joy, disgust, peace. So, and then these are some higher emotions and some lower emotions, right? And to be aware of these emotions, you have to know about the emotions first. So we are just like, so first is emotion, we feel something, and then we create a notion about it. So this is where mind works. Okay, so you are feeling something, and based on that feeling with that person in that situation or surrounding, you will create some statement, some structure of word in your mind, right? So it starts with emotion, and then it creates a statement and understanding of that situation in your mind, and then we act accordingly. So that is first, third thing. Okay, so first we feel, then we think, and then we act. So it is mental body, emotional body, and physical body first. So last is physical body. So what is happening actually abhi ke time mein sabke साथ में, so we are acting, we are not thinking straight, and we are feeling. So our emotional body, mental body, and physical body, these are disconnected.
Hmm.
That is why we are not aware of it, and things are like, just happening on autopilot mode. So to be aware about your emotion, to be aware about your thought patterns, and to be aware of so to be in present, be aware and being in present, all these three bodies have to be connected. So you should be aware of what you are feeling, why you're feeling it, and then you have to act accordingly. And that is how it should be. That is how it used to work earlier, but now it doesn't. Right.
Hmm. That's so
So,
interesting, Swati.
yeah,
Sorry to interrupt you, but um, and this is very, very close to the work that Pokar Foundation does as well. What you were talking about, what we feel and how we create thoughts around it. We're basically
right, right,
judging our own emotions already. अगर गुस्सा आ रहा है, तो we are like, गुस्सा क्यों आ रहा है? Why I shouldn't be an angry person. I shouldn't feel angry. I've already made
right,
thoughts and judgments about it. And what you
right,
said
right.
about these three bodies, I think that's probably coming from the ancient wisdom. Very beautiful structure to
Thank
think
you.
about it. And in modern mental health as well, there's terms like disassociation, where we don't feel anything in our body. We're just all in our heads. So
Right,
it's very,
right.
very connected to, I think, what science is talking about as well today.
Right, right, definitely. Yes, yes. Harvard's University also had a recent research on this, that these three are connected, and also WHO has added spiritual well-being also in the definition of this health, so holistic health.
Wonderful. So, let's if you're okay with it, can we jump right into one of the emotions that I think was already referred to on chat, which is love. And this is an emotion I think that confuses and excites people at the same time. What is really it? I mean, what is love? And if it is meant to be a higher or a pleasant emotion, then why do we face challenges when it comes to love?
Because as I was saying earlier also that so all these nine emotions are separate emotion, and what we do is we start switching from one to another based on our understanding of that situation. So if I am not aware, so if I'm learning, we are always learning, right? So if I'm facing some situation for the very first time, and I am not trained to act wisely in that situation, then I will act with my knowledge and my experience, right? And we will create thoughts around it. And that is how we will start believing that this is love for me, or this is hatred for me, or this is fear for me. So we don't get into the roots of it. We mostly, like, superficially have a belief about it. And that is why not just love, all the emotions are misjudged.
So
Right. So,
what is according to you the root, or what is love? Or what is the root of love according to you, Sanya?
love is the, like, nature of this existence. Okay. Everything came out of love. And where there is no love, there is some sort of suffering. Right. So you pick any structure, be it corporate. I am training in corporate, so I feel there is no love in corporate. Like, all the that structure, that work oriented energy. So it's and that is how workplaces are. There is very less work. Less love energy needed, but it is needed. But now, there's no love, and if you see corporate places around, and then markets, that energy. So all these energy where you won't feel comfortable, there is like, love is lacking there. So even in deserts, you know, so you can think of all the places so where there is no love. all these places are into suffering. So love is the source of everything. And so wherever, whatever you nurture with love, that will, like, grow and blossom. Wherever you won't put the, like, that pinch of love, it won't work. So that is root of creation. Everything came out of it. And
So if I
love
understand
is
you,
love is
sorry, go ahead.
remembering self also. So if we are we all are part of nature. So when we are getting close to love, when we are trying to know love, we get close to ourselves. So that is also window or path to yourself. Yes.
Yeah. And I think what you were saying earlier also about, you know, love may be in its root a very high emotion, but the thoughts
Yes.
that we have around what it is and how it should be for us, that is what
True.
creates talent.
True.
Is that
True.
understanding correct?
Yes. That we
And
start connecting the other notions with love.
mm,
है ना? Because we have a subjective understanding of love. Okay, so for
mm,
me, love would be different. For you, love would be different, and for other people also, they have different notions. So when we are, like, imposing our love on somebody, or we are thinking that I'm doing this much or giving this much, uh, and I am not receiving the way I'm receiving, you won't, because that person has a different picture of love.
mm,
एंड पीपल कैन
and-
लर्न फ्रॉम ईच अदर, बट मतलब मुझे पता ही नहीं है कि आपका डेफिनेशन क्या है प्यार का, तो मैं कैसे आपको बता पाऊंगी
mm,
दैट थिंग. सो not just love, there should be the perception for all kind of emotions. So that is
yeah,
how we create a safe space for person who is acting in that emotion. Okay, so we create a welcoming space when we have understanding of that emotion. So first we welcome our emotion also the same way, and for somebody else as well. So
understood.
when I'll
So,
judge you that you are an angry person, you won't be able to open up to me, right?
yeah,
And you
absolutely. And
also would feel afraid of that emotion of yours.
yeah,
Okay,
and you
so
will
rather
just
than
you will
inquiring or
mm.
knowing why I'm feeling emotion, I'll get scared of my emotion and then I'll try to suppress it. So that is how we close our emotions.
So Shruti on chat is saying that love is all about caring, and I feel reaction to that caring gives way to other emotions too. Thanks to Shruti for sharing that. And Shashank is also curious about how can I be, where is the time to be aware of all my emotions? That's a good question, Shashank. Where is the time? How can I have time to be that much aware of my emotions? I'm sure,
So
Swati, you will share some tips about how to do this and be more present to our emotions. Is that right?
yes, yes. So I'm forgetting the name. Somebody, some very, like, enlightened person said that spirituality or living life with wisdom. So it is not about peeling the potatoes and chanting mantras. It's just about peeling the potatoes. And I love that phrase, that this is not something that you have to spend a separate time for it. So I'll come to
Hmm.
the later technique how to do it, but just to reflect a bit that so emotions are something which we have 24/7. Okay, भले हम किसी के साथ रह रहे हैं, या हम वर्क प्लेस में हैं, या हम ट्रैवल कर रहे हैं, या हम कुछ भी कर रहे हैं, या हम अकेले भी हैं, पर सबसे क्लोजेस्ट जो हमारे है हमेशा, वो इमोशन है. तो वी आर नॉट मच अवेयर ऑफ इमोशंस, बट वी आर मोर अवेयर ऑफ थॉट्स, है ना? हम सोच रहे होते हैं, हमेशा हम एक सोच में होते हैं, और उसके बैकग्राउंड में एक विंडो ओपन होता है जो इमोशंस का होता है, जो हम हार्ट में हैप्पीनेस फील कर रहे होते हैं, या हैप्पीनेस फील कर रहे होते हैं, या डर फील कर रहे होते हैं. तो जो फर्स्ट जो हमारा सामने जो स्क्रीन पे खुला हुआ है विंडो, दैट इज योर थॉट प्रोसेस. बहुत सारे थॉट्स चल रहे हैं स्क्रीन पे, कंटिन्यूअसली चल रहे हैं, और हम एक थॉट आया तो प्रोबेबली एक इमोशन आया होगा सबसे पहले, वहां से एक थॉट आया, फिर उस थॉट में से हम दूसरे फिर तीसरे में गए. So this is how it keeps spinning. So this we can do daily, 24/7. We just need to be aware about it, and it is a fun technique. You will have fun knowing yourself.
Wow, I'm looking forward to hearing more about that. But I like what you said that this is not a part-time job, it's a full-time, it's
Yes, yes,
along with
full time.
life. You have to do this,
Full time job.
not as a separate activity. So
Yes,
if you're okay, we can move on to another emotion. And Anmol, I think you have a question, and we will definitely get to that. Just keeping
yes,
time in mind as well. We will be talking about anger, so we will get to your question shortly.
yes,
So for anger, I mean, anger, everyone does, nobody wants to be angry. Everyone wants to shut anger down. It's probably considered a lower emotion. How
yes.
can we use it constructively rather than letting it harm our well-being?
Um, so for that, you have to know from where it is coming first. And when you say from where it is coming, so एंगर सो पहले हमें गुस्सा कब आता है जब हमारे हिसाब से कुछ गलत हुआ होता है जो हमें लगता है कि सही नहीं है ना सो फ्रॉम वेयर इट केम सो इट केम फ्रॉम समथिंग वेयर बाउंड्री हैज बीन वायलेटेड है ना सम वैल्यू वुड हैव बीन हार्म्ड या फिर कुछ सप्रेस हुआ होगा कुछ है ना ऐसी जगहों से गुस्सा आता है तो for somebody who is getting this anger again and again उससे पहले ये रिफ्लेक्ट करना पड़ेगा कि ये कहाँ से आ रहा है मतलब आपको समझ में आएगा जब आप गुस्सा कर रहे हो तो इमोशन को आप जब सेल्फ इंक्वायरी करते हो तो आप कैसे करते हो यू जस्ट गॉट एंग्री देयर वाज अ सिचुएशन एंड यू गॉट एंग्री तो एंगर होता है ना तो वो डेफिनेटली बाउंड्री वायलेट हुई इसलिए एंगर आया just forget right and wrong outside what happened just about that person कि उसकी कोई बाउंड्री ब्रीच हुई है इसीलिए उसे गुस्सा आया है एंड दैट पर्सन वो जब गुस्सा कर रहा है कोई भी गुस्सा करता है उसके बाद या तो आगे फिर या तो वो गुस्सा छोड़ देता है या तो फिर आगे वो उसे कंटिन्यू करके और भी ज्यादा इमोशन वैसे डेवलप करता है अपने अंदर और थॉट्स भी डेवलप करता है जिसपे वो एक्ट करता जाता है विच इज ऑफ नो यूज एंगर anger like it kills your energy, it consumes you. All the lower emotion would consume you, all the higher emotion would take you places. So and we mindfully choose that which emotion we want to be in. So one, when we have a trauma or some difficult life, some situation, तो जहाँ पे हम हैवी फील करते हैं तो वहां पे हमें अवेयरनेस नहीं होती है और हम जस्ट एक लोअर इमोशन के एक लूप में फंसते चले जाते हैं एंड व्हेन वी स्टार्ट थिंकिंग अबाउट इट व्हेन वी ट्राई टू बिकम माइंडफुल और वी पूजा करना या कुछ भी अच्छा नेचर से कनेक्ट होने की एक्टिविटी करना एंड देन वी स्टार्ट गेटिंग लाइक राइजन अप वी स्टार्ट गेटिंग इनटू upper side of energy तो anger is again your boundary has been ब्रीच्ड और तो पहले खुद रिफ्लेक्ट करना कि मेरे साथ मतलब ऐसा तो क्या हुआ है मेरे अंदर कि मुझे ये गुस्सा हुआ इस आया और जो हम जब भी हम गुस्सा करते हैं ना तो वो गुस्सा सिर्फ एक सिचुएशन का गुस्सा नहीं होता है वो बहुत अलग अलग सिचुएशन में बहुत बार बाउंड्रीज ब्रीच हुई होती है हमारी तो हम वो सारे इमोशन को कलेक्ट करके रखते हैं और फिर एक साथ उसका गुस्सा बस एक जगह पे आता है और कभी कभी हमारा गुस्सा हमारे लिए मोस्टली हमारा गुस्सा हमारे लिए ही जस्टिफाइबल नहीं होता है हमें बाद में तो रियलाइज होता ही है कि इतना ज्यादा नहीं करना था है ना फिर हम या तो हम उसे करेक्ट करते हैं या तो फिर हम हमारी बात को जस्टिफाई कर लेते हैं किसी भी तरीके से एंड वी मूव अहेड एंड वी डेयर टू डू इट अगेन
I like how you said there to do it again. But I think what you're saying is that if you don't do the self-inquiry bit, which is knowing that some boundary has been crossed and
यस
understanding what boundary that is for me, so that gives you information about yourself. If you don't
राइट
do this activity, then it's likely that you will continue this behavior
राइट
again and
राइट
it will drain you. That's what you're trying to
Right,
say.
right, right, right. So this is how you be mindful about that emotion of yours, that from where it is coming, and since when it has been there. Mostly, गुस्सा लोगों में बचपन से आता है. If you take the history, you'll know it's coming from childhood. Well, 10 to 18 wala age group mostly.
Yeah.
So
And how do we process this anger without suppressing it? अब शायद मुझे पता भी चल गया let's say कि boundary cross हुआ है इसलिए मुझे
Mhm.
गुस्सा आ रहा है, तो मैं
Mhm.
suppress नहीं करना. I don't want to suppress that anger now,
Right,
even if
right,
I know the reason. How do I process
right.
that now?
So that time we always have a liberty of willpower through our wisdom. Okay. So उस situation में तो जब भी so all these things are all the emotional as all the career things are challenges, all these emotional drawbacks are also challenges, right? So when we face a challenge, what we do about it? We collect all the like favorable things to us and we do something about it. Right. So we collect all the wisdom we have and we do something about it. And if we don't, we cannot do, it is not in our capacity to do, then we make peace with it.
Hmm. And we are
Right.
going to come to that part towards the end, which is the
Yes, yes.
difficult part. How do I come to peace with anything?
Right.
So what you're basically what you're saying is that I need to, if I understand and have the information of what has happened, I have done self-inquiry. How I process it is by using my wisdom and seeing what else I can do instead of being angry. How can I express it
Right.
in a different way? Right? Is that correct?
Yes, yes. Happiness is a full-time job again. You have to keep choosing always.
Yeah, that's a beautiful quote. Happiness is a full-time job. Okay, shall we go on to the next, another important, I think, emotion, and maybe we would classify this as lower, I'm not sure, but it's fear, because I think every one of us, especially in today's times, I think we have fear of a billion things. How can we shift our perspective about fear? Fear as a guide, fear as again information about ourselves rather than an enemy. How do we do that?
So, so what is fear to you? What do you feel about fear?
I'm the only one talking here. I would love to answer, but I'm just curious
Yes,
if
please.
anyone has a thought about it. What is fear?
Anybody have any thought about fears? We all have felt fears.
Anyone?
Fear of failure, like
Bhargavi, you wanted to say something? I'm sorry, Shashank is saying.
fear of failure, fear कई बार इस चीज़ों का होता है कि फ्यूचर में अगर ये हो गया या ये चीज़ नहीं हुई और जो लोग हमसे कनेक्टेड हैं उन पे इसका क्या असर पड़ेगा, मुझ पे इसका क्या असर पड़ेगा. मोस्ट मोस्ट ऑफ टाइम फियर से यही फीलिंग आती है कि अगर ये हो गया या ये नहीं हुआ तो क्या होगा उन लोगों के साथ जिनके साथ हम कनेक्टेड हैं. मोस्टली फियर लोगों से कनेक्टेड रहने से होता है कि उन्हें क्या होगा, मुझे क्या होगा. आई थिंक दैट्स, ये मेरा फियर है.
Okay.
And
So,
I,
yes, Kushi.
I think it's
Okay.
also the fear of um, the unknown.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes. Bit of fun.
Jigesh on chat says fear of losing someone who is very close. And I think Bhargavi, you've been trying to say something, and please
Yeah,
go
I
ahead.
agree with Santosh, I guess. It is more about the fear of failure or and fear of acceptance, the validation that we keep looking from others. So the fear of losing that validation or not getting that validation, acceptance.
Okay. So, you all
May,
have said that
may
how.
I add?
Yes,
Sure,
yes,
Anuja.
Anuja ji, please.
Yes. So, fear of something that is not in our control, that we cannot make happen the way we want. That is another fear, or maybe kind of root cause of many other fears and underlying emotions and anger and frustrations.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Anuja ji. Uh, yes. So we all have said that, what kind of fear we feel, राइट. ये हमने आप लोगों ने जो भी बताया ये बताया कि इस चीज का डर है इस चीज को तो हमेशा मोस्टली दैट इज फियर ऑफ समथिंग गोइंग अवे फ्रॉम योर लाइफ
Hmm.
either your work your job your emotion relationship तो फियर ऑफ तो फियर इज an emotion where you feel कि something will be lost or something will be taken away from you. And so fear is a wise messenger, okay, and it says that something matters to you, okay. Fear comes out of protection always. कि जब हमें लगता है कि हम किसी चीज को या कोई चीज, जैसे कि शशांक ने कहा कि मेरे बाद क्या होगा सबका, या अ, जो भी, तो एक फियर होता है कि मुझसे कोई दूर चला जाएगा, और दूसरा होता है कि मैं दूर चला गया तो लोगों का क्या होगा, है ना। टू वे, यही दोनों चीजों में फिर अलग अलग हमारे सब्जेक्टिव सिचुएशन और लाइफस्टाइल के हिसाब से हम फियर से एसोसिएटेड होते हैं। तो फियर इज समथिंग विच टेल्स यू दैट समथिंग मैटर्स टू यू, ओके, एंड it doesn't need to be fought but understood, that you have to create so fear, जिनमें बहुत ज्यादा fear होता है, so that leads people to disorders also, for their paranoia, and then schizophrenia and all those situations, that is extreme fear, जहाँ पे आप इतना ज्यादा fear feel करते हो कि आप hallucinate करने लगते हो, या आपको ऑडिटरी हैलुसिनेशन होता है, विजुअल होता है, आपको चीजें दिखाई देने लगती है, सुनाई देने लगती है, या फिर एनी वन हु हैव गॉन थ्रू ट्रॉमेटिक सिचुएशन, ऐसा लोगों के साथ होता है कि वो टाइम ऑफ पीरियड आता है ना उस ईयर में, या दैट स्पेसिफिक मंथ और ईयर, या फिर फोटोग्राफ्स देख ली, सो दे हैव फियर ऑफ रिपीटिंग द सेम थिंग अगेन, या फिर उसकी वजह से, उस प्रीवियस फियर की वजह से लोग फ्रीज हो जाते हैं और आगे एक्ट नहीं कर पाते हैं, क्योंकि उन्हें लगता है कि ये सेम चीज रिपीट होगी, तो हम फ्रीज हो जाते हैं और फिर हम वो चीजें करते हैं, ओके। सो वी हैव क्लोज्ड ऑल द डोर्स फॉर दैट स्पेसिफिक सिचुएशन, एंड देन वी आर ट्राइंग टू डू इट, so we are not giving our 100% and we are operating out of fear। तो हमारी जितने भी एक्शन हो रहे हैं ना, all these emotion का जो एक कंसिस्टेंसी होता है हमारे अंदर, ठीक है, तो वो जितना, जो फियर जितना ज्यादा स्ट्रांगली हमारे अंदर इनकलकेटेड होगा, वो हमारे ऑरा में होगा हमेशा, एंड वी वुड, सो दिस इज हाउ वी कैन सी, रीड पीपल्स फेसेस एंड नो दैट दिस पर्सन हैज दैट मच ऑफ फियर। वो फेस पे दिखता है ना, कुछ लोगों के फियर, कुछ लोगों के प्यार, कुछ लोगों के गुस्सा, because we have it on, we have been thinking about it so much that it is there in our like the physical presentation also. When somebody sees us, they know. So fear, again, fear is something which has happened in past. So जो भी इंसान डर में रह रहा है, वो पास्ट से ऑपरेट कर रहा है, हमेशा पास्ट से ऑपरेट कर रहा है। अब पास्ट में जो भी चीजें होती हैं, आई रिस्पेक्ट, वो होता है सबके साथ, एंड वी ऑल नो दैट वी नीड टू मूव आउट ऑफ दैट, राइट। So we try to move out of situation, but that sense of that fear we felt in that situation in past, it carries with us further. Always that sense, just that sense. So we need to understand it's not real first. It's a traumatic sense from that previous situation and understanding of it. But past never repeats, right? It never repeated. It never will. तो हो सकता है कि कुछ वैसा, कुछ दूसरी सिचुएशन होगी, बट सेम चीज तो वापस हो ही नहीं सकती, देयर इज नो पॉसिबिलिटी इन दिस टाइमलाइन, राइट। So this is not going to happen. We just need to understand our fears. The moment we will understand the fear, so we expect कि हमारे साथ जो भी हमारा कंपेनियन है, या फ्रेंड है, या फैमिली है, उस सिचुएशन में जो भी है, वो समझे उस फियर को, है। इसीलिए हम गुस्से से चिल्लाते हैं, या थोड़ा एक स्ट्रॉन्ग डोमिनेंस रखते हैं कि सामने वाला समझे, पर सामने वाले को समझने से पहले हमें खुद समझना पड़ेगा हमारे गुस्से को। एक बार गुस्सा आया, इट्स फाइन, पर आप उसे दूसरी बार समझ लोगे ना, तो उस सेम सिचुएशन पे तो आपको गुस्सा नहीं आएगा, इट वुड बी समथिंग एल्स, एंड दिस इज हाउ यू सेल्फ इंक्वायर एवरी टाइम एंड गेट बेटर। It's just an emotion, and you decide how you drive it, nobody else, just you. This is how you act, you don't react.
Interesting.
Yes.
I like how you said that fear freezes us and we are not able
Yes.
to act at all. Um, but I also see how you're saying, having this information can help you act. Having this information about what it means to you, where it has come from, that it cannot happen again, all of that. That can help you move ahead. But do you have any
Right.
other ways, maybe of doing small acts or small steps that we can take to overcome fear of whatever? I mean, people have listed down so many different types of fears now. What do we do
Right.
to क्रॉस दैट लाइन कि अच्छा ये पास में था अभी नहीं है बट समझ तो गए हैं लेकिन एक्ट कैसे करें?
जी। तो फिर ना अगेन वही चीज कहूंगी कि फर्स्ट जस्ट स्टार्ट जर्नलिंग, not just for fear, start journaling for all these 9 emotions. Okay, and reflect daily on your emotions. So how do you journal? You have to write love. तो लव से आप किस इंसान को कनेक्ट कर पा रहे हो, है ना, लाइफ में। और तो जब आप इंसान को कलेक्ट लिखना शुरू करोगे ना अपनी लाइफ के लोगों को, तो मॉम डैड लिखोगे, हस्बैंड होगा, वाइफ होगी, है ना, फ्रेंड्स होंगे, या जो भी आपका क्लोज है, आप उनके नाम लिखोगे। तो जैसे आप उनका नाम लिखोगे ना, आपको अपने प्यार की डेफिनेशन ना अलग अलग मिलेगी हर इंसान के साथ में। और फिर आप रिफ्लेक्ट कर सकते हो कि इसमें से मेरी डेफिनेशन क्या है प्यार की, क्योंकि दिस इज व्हाट यू आर लुकिंग इन ऑल द इमोशंस, इन ऑल द रिलेशन ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर इमोशंस। So rather than going by people, if you'll go by emotion, then you'll be able to understand your emotion better, and you'll operate from yourself, not from somebody else. You understand? हम लोग मोस्टली जब एक्ट करते हैं रिलेशनशिप में, तब हम किसी और के हिसाब से एक्ट कर रहे होते हैं। So rather than it's not, I'm not saying that, so अभी लोग ऐसे पूछने लगते हैं जब मैं ये कहती हूँ कि ये तो फिर सरेंडर करना हो गया, फिर हमारी क्या वैल्यू रही उस रिलेशन में, या फिर लाइक यू नो, और ये तो सेल्फिश भी हो गया कि मैं मेरे हिसाब से एक्ट कर रही हूँ, है ना, उस हिसाब से, और हिसाब से सेल्फिश हो गया कि मैं मेरे हिसाब से एक्ट कर रही हूँ। सो आई एम नॉट सेइंग दैट यू डिफाई दैट पर्सन, respect that person, and be open about everything. Be open to communicate. This is how you create a safe boundary for yourself, and you make other people also understand about it. तो अगर आप एक healthy boundary अपने लिए create करोगे ना, आप समझ के, that is your choice. Okay. अभी स्किल ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम्स में या जितने भी कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट्स होते हैं जहाँ पे पर्सनालिटी डेवलपमेंट सिखाया जाता है, so they all are training people to walk in certain same ways, and talk in certain same ways, and so it is like, uh, trying to they're trying to, like, mimic in the same way all people are, and we all are unique, very much unique. So something which might be working for me might not work for you, and you don't need to question that. This is how you decided it to be. That is your life, your earrings or shoes or thought or a decision in career, right? So if it is coming from you, then you create a strong personality, a wisdomful personality, where there won't anybody be coming and telling you that you did something wrong, because you know how it is and you can always explain. And all these emotions are to be understood. You create your level of understanding. Everybody is operating through certain level of consciousness, है ना, आपके अंडरस्टैंडिंग, आपके लाइफस्टाइल के हिसाब से आपका एक लेवल ऑफ कॉन्शियसनेस होगा, मेरा मेरे हिसाब से होगा, किसी बच्चे का उसके हिसाब से होगा। तो इट्स नॉट अबाउट अगेन एज एंड जेंडर, बट एक्सपीरियंसेस एंड अंडरस्टैंडिंग how that person is living that life through, like, knowledge, practical knowledge, and inculcating in their daily life. So yes,
Okay.
so coming back to this, that instead of asking how do we conquer the fear, it cannot be conquered. Okay, you have to ask that fear, that what is it trying to tell me to value, है ना। इट्स अबाउट वैल्यू, जस्ट वैल्यू। जब आपका वैल्यू जो है ना, आप उस वैल्यू को किसी भी तरीके से देखो, जब आपको लगता है वो हार्म हो रहा है, तब आपको उस पे गुस्सा आता है, उस चीज पे, बिकॉज यू आर ए प्रोटेक्टर। सो यू जस्ट नीड टू नो दैट व्हाट इज बीइंग हार्म्ड विद इन यू फर्स्ट, and what you are trying
Hmm.
to protect. So the moment you will start knowing what you are trying to protect, you can reflect further on it.
Interesting. Thank you, Swati. I think that was a lot of beautiful information said in a very
Lot of
short
data.
time.
Yes.
uh, I want to move to a higher so-called emotion, which we are all seeking, I think, which is peace
Okay.
and acceptance. We often talk
Yes.
about finding peace. I mean, with all of these emotions, we are basically saying we are trying to reach peace, where we're at peace with fear, or at peace with anger, or at peace with whatever, anything else, or at peace in life in general. But our lives are pretty chaotic and a lot of distractions, like you were saying earlier in the session. How do we cultivate peace amidst all of this chaos?
So first, again, the same thing that what is peace? Uh, Peace is a presence of trust. Okay, so now we can reflect upon that where do we feel peace? So best friend, it would be best friend or mother or nature or any place where we feel we are safe. This is my home, and I can, like, I don't need to keep any of my guards up here. I can just be in my space, and in that space, or sometimes in morning when, like, sun is rising and birds are chirping, you are in that space where you feel peace, or sometimes sun sets also nearby the sea. So all these are the places where everybody would have uh felt that sense of peace, right? So again, it is coming from the presence of trust. So wherever you'll have trust, you'll feel peace. And where you don't have trust, you won't feel peace. Now, so absence of pain. People think that this peace is absence of pain, right? We feel that if I'll stop feeling this pain I'm feeling right now, then I'll be at peace. Somebody said something?
No, I think it was by mistake. Please
Okay,
continue.
okay. Yes. So, usually for all of us, it's the absence of pain that the moment I'll stop feeling this pain, the moment this time will pass and I'll cross this, then I'll get peace. So, it's not at all target oriented. It is coming from the trust within you. So, whenever somebody has broken our trust, or whenever we feel that I planned something in this way and it is not going the way I planned it, then we have this chaos inside, which is the, like, again, opposite of peace.
Yeah.
So, yes, this is peace, and it comes with the presence of trust. So, so as much as you can cultivate trust within, as much as you will be at peace.
Beautiful. And I think trust is so closely tied with everything that you have said so
True,
far in this session,
true.
especially when it comes to trusting ourselves. When we know more about ourselves, we trust
Yes,
ourselves
yes,
more.
yes, yes,
And that is what the entire session I think you have been talking about, which is a beautiful way to tie that in. I'll ask you one more question and then we'll open it to, the chat questions on chat and anybody else who has questions.
yes, yes.
Um, what is the one question that you would like everyone here to reflect upon in their emotional journey? Like how will they get started on this self-inquiry process? I think you mentioned journaling is one of them.
Yes, yes, yes. So, start with, we all get offended and we all get hurt very easily. Sometimes in social circles, sometimes in friend groups, sometimes in family, wherever we feel offended or hurt. So that is, like, that must be the thanking point to the universe and starting point also, that thankfully now I know that where it is hurting inside. When we have a physical pain, uh, when we have a physical pain, we know where it is paining, right? When we have a mental pain, uh, you can reflect upon that by the quality of thoughts you are having within. Just you know it. Everyone know it individually. Nobody else can know it. We can talk good things outside, but that is that like specific. Only that individual knows that how purified thoughts you actually have. So preaching the words, that thing, preach what you say. So in mental, if there is a disease in mental body, how would you know it? So in mental body, you will know it through the purity of that thought. That are you actually preaching what you are saying? So wherever you are saying something and you are not actually doing it, so that creates a duality within you. So you are something within and something else outside, or you are something else outside something. So, and then, so if you are doing it by your choice, then also it is a disease. If you are doing it by any suppression, then also it is a disease. It's a mental disease which will further keep creating duality within you. So you are doing something else. You want to do something else, and then you'll fall further in this situation. We all are somewhere. You understand, right? So so first, wherever you feel offended, just see where it is hurting. You'll find an emotion that you are feeling hurt. You yourself would say that I'm feeling hurt. So what is that thing which is making you feel hurt? So in present, it would be that one person or that one situation or a group of people, and then you will start thinking of the same वो उस इमोशन उस स्पेसिफिक इमोशन से रिलेटेड आपके साथ पहले भी जितनी बार वो ऐसी सिचुएशन आई होंगी जहाँ पे आपने वो एक वल्नरेबल स्टेट फील किया होगा, आप वो सारा कनेक्ट करोगे और फिर आपको लगेगा दुनिया ऐसे ही करती है और दुनिया ऐसी ही है और इस चीज के साथ और मैं कुछ नहीं कर सकता और मैं कुछ नहीं कर सकती और आप फ्रीज हो जाओगे, देन यू वॉन्ट एक्ट. सो दिस इज हाउ इट इज हैपनिंग. सो व्हाट वी नीड टू डू डिफरेंट इज वी नीड टू स्टार्ट जर्नलिंग कि जैसे ये थॉट आ रहा है ना, हमें इस थॉट पैटर्न में ऑलरेडी भी जाते ही हैं, राइट? बट हमें इस थॉट पैटर्न के लिए अवेयर होना है. तो हमें पता चलेगा कि जिस इंसान के बारे में मैं सोच रही हूँ, मैं उससे क्या एक्सपेक्ट करती हूँ. इज इट इज इवन वो जो इंसान है वो क्या सच में इतनी वैल्यू भी रखता है कि आज का मेरा लाइक आज करंट में मैं जो भी कर रहा हूँ या कर रही हूँ और मैं जो आगे करना चाहती हूँ उसके साथ ये चीज रिलेट भी कर रही है कि नहीं, ये चीज आगे मुझे ग्रोथ दे रही है या मुझे आगे वे डाउन कर रही है. सो दीज ऑल द आर द फर्दर रिफ्लेक्टिव पॉइंट्स. इफ somebody wants I can share it with you later if you can share somewhere. So this is a whole conversation further. You keep digging in until you actually understand what is happening within. So जितनी ज्यादा आपने waves create की होंगी अपने perception की, उतना ज्यादा आपको deep में जाना पड़ेगा. So there's one way. So अभी मैं ये जितनी भी चीजें बोल रही हूँ उसमें से कुछ को समझ में आएगी, कुछ को नहीं आएगी. Some people will understand, won't follow. Some people would follow and go further. And so this is how it works on perceptions, how much so trust, love, perception. So when you mix it all and drive yourself through it rather than going and asking anybody क्या कैसे. हर कोई आपको एक perception दे सकता है उसके life experience से, पर आपको अपना life तो खुद ही decode करना है through your emotional journey. So first is emotional journey. You start with your triggering points, you self inquire it further, and you understand yourself better. तो आपको पता चलेगा ओके मैंने वहां उस टाइम पे इस हिसाब से इस वजह से बिहेव किया था. नाउ आई नीड टू वर्क ऑन दिस. सो इस तरीके से आप लोगों अपनी लाइफ में से लोगों को भी सॉर्ट आउट कर पाओगे कि कैसे लोग चाहिए कैसे नहीं चाहिए, कहाँ पर एक्चुअल में ध्यान जाना चाहिए कहाँ पर नहीं जाना चाहिए. आप अपनी लाइफ की प्रायोरिटीज पे इस हिसाब से सेट कर पाओगे. you'll be able to clean your emotional and mental slate, and then you can think straight. So journaling is the only thing which will take you through that. आप जर्नल से शुरू कर सकते हो और आप इस सेम प्रोसेस को ना दिन में पूरे दिन जब भी आप लॉस्ट हो जाते हो या जब भी कुछ अजीब सा फील होने लगता है, एकदम से लगता है आप ड्रेन फील कर रहे हो, तो जस्ट ट्राई टू blink that light within you and try to see what is happening whenever you are free. So it'll take thoda sa time. If you'll keep practicing this daily, it'll be a fun process to do. And then
Yeah,
you
it
can
does
understand others better.
It does sound fun, but it also sounds like a lot of work, Swati. But I'm sure as you
It is.
do
It is
it
a lot
on
of work.
as you do it on a daily basis, I'm sure it
Yes,
becomes
yes, yes.
little easier to make sure. So
Yes, yes, yes.
thank you
So
so much for
initially it's very
sharing that.
emotionally draining, but then you start
Yeah,
having fun with it. Because you are
great.
like, it's like digging your grave and knowing the
Yeah.
things. So you are going into your past and journaling. So it is difficult, but
What you said, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but what you said about you know वो duality की वजह से chaos आ रहा है, and the goal is to go towards authenticity, and the path
right,
is self-inquiry. So that's how I'm
right,
looking at
right, right, right. So goal
self-inquiry.
is
For
to
me,
live a wisdomful life.
yeah.
Yes, so wisdom has all the like, higher qualities of living a life or like, with actual trends.
Thank you so much. And like one of the participants has said in the chat, I think it was Shashank, he said this is too much to process in 1 hour. I agree. But like Swati already said, we will get whatever whatever level of consciousness we are in, we will take what we can from here. I'm sure it
Yes,
was useful at some level for all of us. I do want to open it up for questions, and while that is happening, Dolly will be sharing feedback form for all of us. If you can just take a couple of seconds to fill that in. There was one question from Anmol earlier. What happens when someone suppresses their emotions, be it love, anger? What are the consequences of it?
what if somebody suppresses the emotion?
And what is the consequence of suppressing the emotion?
So understand when you press anything, it bursts out, right? So so it will burst out within, and so initially, if you're suppressing some initially you'll be able to suppress it in private. Then you won't be able to suppress it even in public. It'll have different effect through your behavioral patterns, through your anger and the way you talk, the way you act. It'll start reflecting. So any emotion you are practicing so much, so you are having any kind of thought about any kind of emotion within or notion, any notion existing around, you'll start having it in your personality further. And then it would be appeared whether it is a negative emotion or like higher emotion or the lower one, but you'll start seeing it in your personality, behaviors, relationships, workplace, everywhere.
It will show up, is what you're saying. It's like
Yes,
that
yes,
ball being
yes, yes,
pressed onto the water, and then it just
yes,
kind
yes,
of bursts up.
yes, yes,
Thank you. I don't think we have time for too many more questions, but if we can all switch on our camera for a fraction of a second, so Dolly can get a quick picture of all of us in this
yes.
wonderful session, that would be really nice. Thank you, Jatin. Thank you,
Thank you
Kamla.
so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you, Swati, for being here and sharing all of your wisdom with us so freely, and also agreeing to share further, steps if required with all those who are present here. It's
Yes,
really
yes.
good of you. Thank you all
Thank you
for
so
switching.
much.
Thank
Finally,
you,
I get to
Swati.
see a lot of faces. I hope this was as useful to you all as it was for me. There were a lot of eye-opening statements that you made, Swati, that are really going to stick. So thank you, and thank you all
Thank
for
you.
being here.
And thanks to Booker Foundation also for organizing this for us. It was really a
Thank
nice
you.
session. And thanks, Swati, also for
Thank
the
you,
session.
Jatin.
It actually means a
Thanks for
lot
attending.
for all of us.
Thank you.
Wonderful. I hope to see all of you all in our upcoming sessions as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Twamnish, Nushrut, Sashank, Lakshmi ji. Thank you all.
We'll close the session here now. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thanks, Ujjwala.
It was really an insightful session to know all the emotions and all. Thank you.
Thank you, Monica. Bye, Anu. Bye.